Welcome to another Bible in a Year Q&A. This is for the readings from July 1st through the 15th. And from the question regards Acts 15 verses 36 to 41. So I'll just read verse 36 and 37 here. So 36, and after some days, Paul said to Barnabas, "Come, let us return and visit the brethren in every city, where we proclaim the word of the Lord, and see how they are." Barnabas wanted to take with them John called Mark, but Paul thought best not to take with them one who had withdrawn from them in Pamphylia and had not gone with them to the work. So if you go back to chapter 13 in Acts, verse 13, it speaks of they're going to Pamphylia, and John, also called Mark, so John Mark, kind of goes back to Jerusalem, kind of ditches them. Well, the question is, can you explain all this? What's going on here? Well, kind of back to earlier in their mission going around in Asia Minor, present-day Turkey, John Mark kind of left and went back to Jerusalem. We aren't given us the reason, but it's why then. But now they're going to go back and do another route, kind of check up on all the communities the churches they founded, and Barnabas wants to take John Mark with them, and Paul's like, no. And it doesn't go into great details, but the fact that he ditched out, I think Paul's like, no, if he's going to he ditched out last time, I don't want to have to deal with that again, most likely. So they part ways. Barnabas goes to Cyprus, and with Barnabas, John Mark goes with Barnabas to Cyprus, the island of Cyprus. And actually then later tradition has that John Mark goes to Rome with Peter, and is actually Peter's, you could say, companion, his scribe, and is the one who writes the Gospel of Mark, the evangelist, but really kind of from Peter's preaching, because John Mark was not one of the original 12 apostles that were Jesus. So this whole dispute here has to do with kind of contention, and we see those. So Paul and Barnabas, there isn't always they don't see eye to eye on things. Paul's like, no, I don't want to have to deal with him ditching out again. Barnabas says, well, we should take him with us, and they go their separate ways. And it's important, I think, to note that in the life of the church, even those that are, holy people, saints, haven't always gotten along with each other, or at least been able to work with each other on the same kind of specific project. An example of this is Saint Philip Neri in the mid-late 1500s, and Saint Charles Borromeo. Philip Neri was in Rome, kind of started the community of priests, kind of to revive priestly life, and Saint Charles Borromeo was bishop up in Milan and really reforming the diocese there. So both these were, Philip Neri and St. Charles Borromeo were, you could say, reformers, and especially of priestly life, helped cleaning up the clergy. But they had different ways of doing it, and they didn't see eye to eye. There was maybe I think a hope of some people maybe thinking, or maybe amongst themselves, like maybe we can collaborate and kind of, but they had different ways of doing it, which both had good fruits come forth. But it also shows us that, even if those that are kind of holy and living for the Lord, they don't always get along with everybody, or kind of, God can give specific different missions to different people and different ways of, kind of spreading the gospel, and that's okay. And so the fact that Barnabas and Paul kind of part ways here over this kind of dispute about taking John Mark with them or not, it's in a certain sense it's sad, but I think it's a precursor of reality in the life of the church, that those that are in this life, we're not going to agree on every little thing, and God can give us kind of particular task that only we can perform in a particular way. So it's not that we just all kind of lockstep. St. Francis de Sales would use the image of kind of a garden in this regard of, different flowers, and we're not all roses or all lilies, or I don't know my flowers that well, so but this idea of the fruit that we bear forth, the flowers of our lives, for each person can be different, and there's kind of a beautiful variety there. And so just to, in part sense, we accept that. We don't think, well, everybody has to be the exact same. But the overarching mission is to bring Christ, the gospel, the life of grace to others, and how that's done. And it's, I think, just the reality of our humanity, our broken humanness. We don't always get along with others eye to eye, and even at times that's okay, because sometimes we're given different missions with our lives, and so there's not a one-size-fits-all kind of approach to everything. There are certain things that are kind of non-negotiables. Jesus is God. He's given us the church, the sacraments, but how certain kind of practical things in many areas there's a variety of ways of how things can be done. So I think this is beautiful that in the Acts of the Apostles we think, oh, this is a bummer, they're parting ways, but actually it helps kind of, okay, we shouldn't be surprised in the life of the church when those that are kind of living for the Lord, they have different ways of spreading the gospel, and that's okay. So please keep sending your questions in. God bless.